Hey everyone, welcome back to more political chatter. So in this video, we will be looking at the 2024 Republican primary, and we have our map. We're going to be going through how I think the 2024 Republican primary would go if Donald Trump does not run. So if Trump does run, I really do think that it would be, for the most part, a blowout. I do think that anti-Trump candidates like Larry Hogan and Adam Kinzinger would step up, not Mike Pence, and Ron DeSantis would not run. But without Trump, that really shakes things up. So that adds DeSantis, the Trump back. I really think that Trump would endorse Ron DeSantis, and we have other people. So the people I think would be running are Ron DeSantis, as I just said. Let me pull him up. He is the governor of Florida. I do think that he would be Trump endorsed because of how much he stands with Donald Trump. I mean, he is extremely pro-Trump, and he's definitely an ally of Trump. They always get along. The next candidate that I do think would run if Trump does not is Tom Cotton. So he's one of the few that oh wait, no, I'm thinking of the wrong guy. But Tom Cotton is a senator from the state of Arkansas, and he has said that he would be open to running in 2024. And I mean, when you say something like that, like when you say we've got our eyes on 2024, it almost always means that you will end up running because people are power hungry, and if they're saying it at this point in time, then it is almost certain. The next candidate is Asa Hutchinson, the governor of the state of Arkansas. We have two Arkansas politicians running, which I think is pretty interesting. Asa Hutchinson has also publicly expressed interest. He said that he would run, quote, even if Trump runs. So I really do think that, I mean, that is a major expressive interest of running, and I do think that he would run regardless, Trump runs or not. Next candidate is Chris Christie. He is the former governor of New Jersey, and he's extremely unpopular on both sides of the political spectrum. I mean, when he left office, he had, an 8% approval rating. It was really sad. He did awful as governor, and but he did say that he would be open to running, and he said that actually a while ago, like a long time ago, and he still stands by that. Next is Larry Hogan, the governor of Maryland, a personal favorite of mine. He is an anti-Trump Republican, and, on CNN, I watched an interview that he did on CNN, where he is basically making the case for himself for a 2024 presidential bid. He's saying that there are many anti-Trump Republicans who feel that their voice is not being heard, and he says that I will be that voice. And when Jake Tapper asks him if he considers running in 2024, he said, yes, I'm open to the idea. So I do think that he would run, and he's definitely someone that represents a lot of people and that could run. So we have another anti-Trump candidate, that is Adam Kinzinger from the state of Illinois. There he is. Pretty young, served in the military. Again, anti-Trump. I mean, he's been talking about banning AR-15s. He's a very liberal guy. He's definitely someone who many people consider a rhino or Republican in name only. So, I definitely think that he could be someone who would be open to the idea. And plus, Wikipedia says he publicly expressed interest. Pence is next. Mike Pence is the former governor of Indiana, but I mean, more importantly, the former vice president. So he would not have run unless Donald Trump claimed that the election was fraudulent. If you remember, Trump claimed that there was election fraud, but on January 6th, Mike Pence confirmed the election results, and that's when, the Trump supporters stormed the Capitol. So Trump immediately hated Pence after that, as you could imagine, and they are worst enemies now. And Mike Pence has said that he is definitely open to the idea of running for president in 2024, and definitely someone that I could see running. So we have how many candidates? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candidates running. So let's get into this election prediction. So we're not going to do like the exact amount of delegates or anything. We're just going to be filling in states because, I'm not doing delegates. I'm not going that far. So how about we start with American Samoa? I mean, not many voters in these states for the Republican Party, mostly Democrats. But I mean, if you're looking at these candidates, who is going to have the most connection with, I mean, especially minorities, it's going to be Ron DeSantis. We have a very white field here, but Ron DeSantis as the governor of Florida, he's got a connection to Latinos. He's going to win American Smart, Guam. Not sure what NI stands for. Don't know. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, he's going to win. It comes from Florida, right near Puerto Rico. So we've got those. Let's go down to Alaska. So this is not a very pro-Trump state. If you're looking at it, I mean, if they, if there was a referendum between Trump or another traditional Republican, they would choose a traditional Republican. I guarantee you. But does that necessarily mean that DeSantis won't win? No. But I definitely see this as a state that Pence can win, and I will give it to Mike Pence. I'm sorry, but I really will. He is a traditional conservative, someone who really fits Alaska's views. Going to Hawaii, not much of a competition here. No one else is going to do that good. Hawaii, very Democratic state, but in the Republican primary, it will have to go to DeSantis. Going to California, this is definitely a state that I see DeSantis winning by wide margins. I mean, of course, a lot of these super Democratic states, most of them will go to Ron DeSantis because, I mean, these states have been voting Republican in general elections for so long, they're going to be more traditionally conservative because they are traditionally Republican. You see what I mean here? When states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania that only recently went Republican due to Trump, they are going to be more pro-Trump. So therefore, DeSantis will do well there. And in Democratic states, DeSantis will tend to do a lot better. So going to the state of Oregon. Oregon is next. Oh my God, well, let's stop doing that. Oregon, I do think that DeSantis will win in Oregon. I think that in Washington, the same thing. Again, these Democratic states, no one else really has much of a shot. It's like Republicans are not represented well in these states. Let's go to Nevada. Nevada, DeSantis will do the best with minorities. They're not a huge voting bloc in these Republican primaries, but he will do the best. Arizona, same. New Mexico, probably same. These Sunbelt states, he'll definitely do better in. Utah, not so much. So Utah was a strong Cruz state in 2016, and I do think that it would go to Mike Pence. It was always anti-Trump. They gave Evan McMullin a lot of votes, and they will for in the Senate because of the remarks Trump made about Mormonism. So obviously, they're not going to want an ally of Trump. So Pence did very well in this Midwestern area. I'm not saying that DeSantis will do bad, but he's not going to do, as good as he should be because of his connection to Trump. So going to Colorado, I mean, do we really see anyone else having a shot at a win? I really don't think so. I think DeSantis will carry Colorado. Going to these other states, Trump might not be particularly popular in Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana, but at the end of the day, he really is, and as the former president, and DeSantis will be able to carry these states. Going to North and South Dakota, this is where we do get into more people with the beliefs of Tom Cotton, Asa Hutchinson, Mike Pence, but there's going to be a lot of that split vote. We have to remember also with that traditional conservative vote. That's a big thing to remember, and I think that DeSantis will be able to pull out wins in all of them because of that, along with Nebraska, Kansas, I don't know. But going down to Texas, I mean, these Sunbelt states, Oklahoma, these Sunbelt states is where DeSantis will do exceptionally well. I mean, DeSantis comes from the state of Florida. He's going to have a connection with these southern voters, along with Cotton and Hutchinson. And Texas is exactly that. I think that he would do very well in the state of Texas. Going to, let's go to Louisiana. Let's go to Louisiana. DeSantis will mostly dominate in the South, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and I mean, we have no one from Georgia. He's going to carry the state of Georgia. He'll carry the state of South Carolina. Arkansas is a little interesting because we have Tom Cotton and Asa Hutchinson. If we had one Arkansas politician running in this primary scenario, I would give it to them because of course, name recognition and people love people from their own states. But that is a strong traditional conservative vote. A lot of these traditional conservatives will be voting for Cotton and Hutchinson, while more of the Trump people will be voting for DeSantis. Because of that, I do think that DeSantis will be able to pull out a win. Sorry if you disagree. And plus, DeSantis from the South. Tennessee and North Carolina, I don't see anyone giving it much of a shot. Missouri could be somewhat close because we're getting in Kentucky because we're getting into less more traditional conservative territory like in the Rust Belt. But at the end of the day, we'll go to Ron DeSantis. Going to Virginia, I really see anti-Trump Republicans doing better in Virginia, but at the end of the day, will it cut it? No, it won't. I think that DeSantis will carry Virginia. I think that he will carry West Virginia also, a territory where Trump was always extremely popular. While I'm at it, this is the Democratic primary map. Do Republican primaries use superdelegates? I don't know. I forget. Anyway, going to Illinois, I will give this very narrowly to Adam Kinzinger because when you think about it, there won't be much of a split vote. Because if you're a traditional conservative, if you're an anti-Trump Republican, are you in Illinois? Will you be voting for Larry Hogan or Mike Pence? No, you're not. You're going to be voting for Adam Kinzinger, who is a representative in your state. So I think with the home state appeal, the favorite son appeal, I think it'd be too much for DeSantis, and that Adam Kinzinger would pull off a 1 to 2 point win here. Going to Iowa, this is the first contest of the primary, so it will go to Ron DeSantis because of how early it is in the primary. Going to Minnesota, no one else has much of an appeal here besides DeSantis. Indiana, I really do think would definitely go to Mike Pence just because of the fact that Mike Pence is from the state of Indiana and that he was the former governor. Everyone knows him, and the Indiana Republican Party has backed him many, many times. Ohio will be very hard for Pence to win. So I do have to give it to DeSantis. Going to Wisconsin, I think that I definitely think that this is a territory where Cotton, Hutchinson and Pence could do well. And I think that Pence would put up a really good fight, and I think that Pence would come in actually a pretty narrow second, but I have to give it to DeSantis along with Michigan and Pennsylvania. But going to Maryland, I do think that Larry Hogan would be able to win. Of course, he is extremely popular, among everyone here. Everyone loves him in the state of Maryland. And, Maryland GOP would definitely stand behind him. They would endorse him. He is extremely popular there. That's all I have to say. Going to Delaware, without this home state thing, that's going to DeSantis. New Jersey going to DeSantis. This Northeast where so many Democrats are. And yes, Chris Christie is not winning the state of New Jersey. Going to D.C., we do not have pro-Trump Republicans in D.C. We really don't. But at the end of the day, is Pence winning? No, he's not. DeSantis is winning the District of Columbia. And then these heavily Democratic states, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. No one else is even coming close to them besides possibly Kinzinger and maybe Pence in a couple states. So, and then we have superdelegates, which I don't think Republicans use, but Democrats do, and this is the Democratic primary map, so I'll give it to them. So, DeSantis has won every... We'll go with our last place. We're tied with last place. Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing this so confusing. We're tied with last place between 3 people. Tom Cotton, Asa Hutchinson, and Chris Christie. In second place, we have Larry Hogan with winning one state, the state of Maryland. In fourth place, we had Hogan. In third place, we have Mike Pence, which is, I mean, but when you do it, Mike Pence will win a lot more states, or will win a lot more delegates. I'm just using the fill feature, but he definitely will win a lot more. Mike Pence wins Alaska, Utah, and Indiana. Adam Kinzinger wins Illinois. As I said, Hogan wins Maryland. And DeSantis wins every other state. So as you can see, DeSantis absolutely dominates. And you get the idea. I mean, DeSantis will definitely be the nominee if Trump does not run. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you all next time.